Right, come down to my usual walk around the parks here. Bowness, Baker, Beaumont, and then back around. I've just bumped into one of the parks guys who's also going around litter picking, so I said I should have waited a half hour and you'd have had it all done. Those guys do an amazing job down through here, keeping it all clean, so that's good. Yeah. Right, so I will head up along this way. Should be nice and clean on that way back on the other side. So I'll head along here and see what I can find. What a horsetail growing along here, eh? There's all this white stuff along here. This is what we call Calgary snow. It used to be really, really bad. But they don't plant too many of these trees now. So there's a lot of them around Calgary, I can tell you. And I can remember driving along Memorial Drive and there was buckets and buckets of them along there. And it was literally like it was snowing. Literally like it was snowing. So I've just started bucket number 1. I don't suspect I'll find much around here because parks keep this area really, really nice, and also it's part of my regular route. So it's I walk this one. I try to walk this one every week if I can, and it's not always possible. Like I say, I would rather have been out in the mountains today, clearing deadfall. However, where I was going to go is in the middle of nowhere, and it is insanely windy here in the city. So I can't even imagine how windy it is out there. I can see the clouds every time I see it open into the mountains. I can see the cloud just ripping off the top of the mountain. So that would be dangerous out there today. So I will stay in town and do a litter pick instead. Right, let me continue down that way. Well, so far, very good. That's all I found so far. Yeah. I'm just going to check out across here because sometimes I find cigarette ends over here. There's also usually piles of peanuts here by this log here. So somebody sits here and feeds the squirrels, I think. Right, so a little bit of plastic and some cigarette ends, of course. I will get those cleaned up and on my way. When the sun comes out, it's very nice. It keeps peeking out through the clouds. So I'm hoping this is the weather that I'm going to have tomorrow, because I'm planning on heading out to the mountains tomorrow. I'm going to do a photography trip tomorrow. So it's, okay, Mr. Squirrel, I can hear you. Yep. Yes. So much of this tree fluff down in here. Absolutely everywhere. That's why those trees do so well, because it blows in the wind and literally gets in a crack in the ground. That stuff grows like dandelions. Yeah. Which is good. It's a good pioneer tree. Right, just spotted something on the ground there. Just going to grab that and going to head up over here and over the bridge. Now, just going to check out under the steps. I quite often find stuff under these steps. Although today looks pretty good. I did clean out under there the other day, so there's only a little bit down through here. But, I did down through there the other day. That's all nice and clean under there. Excellent. Right, I'm going to head over the bridge, which is that way. The stand of trees over there is doing very well, I have to say. That's very nice. Right, head up over the bridge. This bridge takes you over into what's called Baker Park. I'm just leaving Bowness Park. Going to head over into Baker Park, which is this way. Woo, is it windy? I've had to put the picker in the bucket to stop stuff blowing back out the bucket. So, yes. But the water is definitely down on where it was the other day, so I'll take that as a bonus. Yeah. Woo. Wow. Is that ever windy? Right, up over the bridge. I'll do some more when I get back into the trees the other side. Wow, isn't that ever a nice picture? Yeah, I've taken this picture many times down through here. I'm going to take it again. Yeah, that cloud and the sun is it's really nice. That water is way up still. A lot less than it was. It was a lot higher than that the other week. But either way, that's good. And my garbage count that I have here is actually really low, which is a great problem to have. Yeah. It's a nice walk. This loop I do around here is 6 kilometres. Like I say, I did shoulder ice. I've got 6 buckets and north of 500 cigarette ends. I've probably found about 20 cigarette ends so far on this route, but it's a route that I do basically every week if I can. Then I will head up down this way, back into the park the other side, and see what I can find up around that way. Oh, bike traffic. Yeah. Alright then. Right, so I'll head up around Really green, isn't it? Isn't it really green?
Where I kind of
It is super green. It's a very nice walk around here. Everybody's never done this walk. It's a little noisy because of the bridges up there, but it's actually a very nice walk. Because it's next to the river, it's just about a zero elevation gain. That's why a lot of people do this walk. Not a bad plan. Yeah. I can definitely tell the difference between this one and the shoulder ice. Good grief. I'm going to have to go back to shoulder ice and do some more litter picking around there, because that was horrendous, to be quite honest. Yeah. That definitely needs more work, that's for sure. Some of that garbage looked like it had been there a long time too. So yeah. We'll clean up along here. Thought I just spotted something that wasn't. Nice along there. I know I've done this picture a few times. I'm going to do it again, because that is actually a very nice shot down through there. Right, I'm going to continue around. Yeah, I can actually see grass in the bottom here now. The other week I came here, the water was way up, about another foot or two. So yeah, I'm going to continue around, see what I can find. Did I mention how green it is? Wow, isn't it green? That's one thing about having all this rain at the moment. It is insanely green. It's very nice. Right, on I go. Right, I'm now around in what's called Baker Park. And as you can see, this is very pleasant down here. Parks have got all the plants out and the flowers, which is always great to see. River's flowing nice. I know the water is down about a foot, because that tree over there, I sat under that tree the other week and did a video, and it was flowing water around it. It is now looking a lot better. Right, I've just come that way. That's facing west. That park over there is Bowness Park. This one I'm in now is Baker Park. I'm going to carry on heading east that way for some distance. I've just bumped into Rudolph again. There's a Dutch guy that walks around here. His name's Rudolph. Bump into him all the time around here. Super nice guy. Right, I'm going to continue along that way. Right, that's that piece done. That little low wall along there, I quite often find bits along the low wall, but that's not unusual. Yes, nothing around the other bears. These are the bears at the other end. There's 4 bears in the park. They're always here. They never move. They like it here. They stay here. There's 2 bears here and there's 2 bears at the other end. Right, I will continue heading east, see what I can find down that way. I'm going to head along the grass here because the wind blows stuff into the grass, so see what I can find in there. Right, got a bit more tree cover along here. I know the wind is nice and all that, but oh boy, trying to keep the small items in the bucket is a little tricky. Yeah. A little bit more tree cover down here, and I should have better tree cover all the way around for the rest of this part of the path as well. But as you can see, more Calgary tree snow along here. Look, yeah. Sometimes it gets so thick there's literally 6 inches of this crap everywhere. Yeah, look at it, both sides of the pathway. I can tell you now, that stuff finds its way into a crack in the ground, and found a piece of garbage. Right, I will pick that up and head on that way. So I'm just coming down under the 85th Street Bridge. I was talking to Dave Crooks there the other day, and we were talking about snakes. That bench up there, you got there on a hot sunny day, let me tell you, I've seen 100, maybe 200 snakes all balled up in there. Yeah, that's where they hide, up in there. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them, so don't sit on that bench if you don't like snakes. Right, I'm going to head back down this way. Right. River's still way up. Nice in the shade, that's for sure. The river's running really good. Yeah. He's got earbuds in, he can't hear you. I don't mind people run and ride bikes with earbuds in. That is just so dangerous. Yeah. Right. On I go. This is a very pleasant walk down through here, Certainly nice now the wind's off. Because I don't have to keep guarding the buckets, the stuff doesn't keep flying out. But, yes. definitely good. I'm thinking, I've just looked at the battery on this camera. I think I will stop off at this log and swap out my battery. Right, back in a moment. Right, battery changed out. When they were doing all the work down through here, this was the road that they built for the excavators and what have you to get in when they were repairing all the flood damage and what have you. And as you can see, it's all grown up nicely now. Excellent. Yeah, very nice to see. Very nice indeed. Lots of new trees, lots of new growth. Always a good thing. Right, I'm going to continue heading down that way and down to the bridges. I might carry straight on at the bridges, just do the small loop around the bit at the bottom there, and we'll see if there's any trains. This little side creek is flowing pretty good. There's normally a little trail along the side of here that you can get down. Not so much today. The bridges are down that way that I'm going to cross in a mo, and let's see if there's any more garbage in there. So far it's very good. Right, I'll come back across that bridge in a minute. I'm just going to head up around this little loop and see if there's any garbage up around here. There quite often is, but I don't hear any trains, so yeah.
Yeah, they're like unavailable.
Morning.
Morning. Unavailable.
It'd be a good time for a train to come by, but it never does when you want it to. Yeah. Right. Yes. Roses are really nice this time of year. Everywhere you look now, but there's roses everywhere. That's really cool. Oh yeah, the water's definitely down, because the other day where those people were stood, their feet would have been in the water. So yes, water is definitely down a touch. So that's good. Right. No trains, so we don't have any trains, so that's unfortunate. But I'll just go down. There's a little piece of an extension loop I've added to my walk down this way, so I will head down there. Oh, a little bit of garbage over there I can see. Yes, flowing pretty good under there, that's for sure. Right, I'm going to head down that way. Right. Nice and clean along here. It's almost like somebody cleaned this out last week. Yeah. Yeah. I'll definitely take this. Very pleasant. Yeah. Almost think one of those little wagon things like Chili's got. I've got a pull along wagon, but he has this little cart thing that you can put bags in along. It's after walking a long way carrying a bucket, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So by the time I get back today, I would have walked nearly 10 kilometres carrying this bucket. Yeah. Which is good. That means there's a lot of garbage off the ground. The further I walk, the more garbage I pick up. So that's good. On I go, down that way. That's a cool picture. Duck sitting on the tree there. Yeah, very nice. Yeah, almost missed that. Oh, what's that? Oh, it's a duck. Yeah, nice. Yes. Definitely nice down through this way. Yes. And I have to say, remarkably clean, which is great to see. Well, since that is basically spotless, I will head back up over the bridges up here in a mo and cross into one of the other parks there. See what I can find that side. Yeah. We are very lucky in Calgary to have so many what I call natural area parks. I did do a thing there the other day for the city of Calgary. We're looking at expanding more we call natural parks like this. Not manicured grass, mown, you know, but we call natural parks like this, which is what people seem to want. And that is exactly why we're checking. The roses, nice everywhere. That's the Alberta rose. Right, I will continue on my way up this way. Well, the water level is definitely down a bit because last week this was all covered in water. So there's 2 or 3 steps there down there, so it's obviously dropped about, I'm going to say 2 feet since last week, so that's good. So, right, and no garbage. Perfect. On I go, round to the next spot. Alright, just talking to a guy up there. Apparently there's a couple of moose up in here. But yeah, that might be interesting. Do not want to come across them buggers. Yeah. Yes. Up in there somewhere, so I think I'll take the main path. But apparently there's 2 moose up in here somewhere. I see the same moose, I suspect it's the same ones that run up past my house. I saw them there earlier in the year. But yes, moose can be a little bit temperamental, so I will keep my eyes open. If I see them, I will grab a bit of video for you. But it's as I'm moving out the way, and see what we can find. Yeah, apparently they're just up here somewhere. Unfortunately, I do have to go this way, so not a lot I can do. Okay, well, I got through that section down there. No moose encounters, which was good. I did warn a woman down there walking her dog. And, yeah, this wind is crazy. I'm not sure how much you're going to be able to hear of this. We're trying to keep the garbage in the bucket. It's becoming a pain in the rear end. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to concentrate on a few cigarette ends up here and head back, I think. This is it's very difficult to pick up stuff because the wind keeps blowing stuff out the bucket and I have to keep going and catching it again. Right, I'm going to head on up that way. Just going to check out this bench, see if there's any cigarette ends there. I can see some bottle caps, so I'll pick those up and be on my way. And of course, now I'm over this side of the railway tracks, I can hear the train. Always the way, isn't it? Over that way somewhere, heading west by the sound of it. Right, trying to stay in amongst the trees, keep the wind off. I'm going to head up that way, see what else I can find. Right, well, I think I will call that it for now. No sign of any moose. The wind is so strong I'm having trouble picking stuff up. So I'm going to bail before this grey cloud turns into really nasty. Out towards the mountain looks really black. So obviously a good reason why I didn't go today. Right, I will call that it for now. Thanks for coming along.